I'm testing the 3 most purchased keyboards on the internet. And people buy nearly $2.5 million worth of these 3 products every single month, according to Helium 10. Now, I've tested hundreds of keyboards, but I've never tried these ones. That's because we're venturing somewhere new today. Somewhere that's the same, but oddly different, where up is down and down is sideways. And no, it's not Australia. These are the most popular non-mechanical keyboards, also known as membrane. In terms of sales, these blow the top mechanical keyboards out of the water, selling nearly 2 to 3 times more. So are people wasting their money on these keyboards? Because some of these membrane keyboards are not cheap pieces of junk like you may expect. In fact, one of them is $130, making it potentially an expensive piece of junk. But today I'm asking the question, is there a chance they're actually worth the money? Thousands of people are buying them, so they can't all be wasting their money, right? Let me introduce today's 3 keyboards that are topping the charts by a long shot. We've got the Logitech MK270 coming in at $25, which gets around $900,000 of sales a month. It also comes with a mouse. Neat. It's extra e-waste, then in fact it's not neat. The Logitech MK345 sitting at $40 gets around $600,000 of sales a month and has a mouse. Then finally, the big chalupa, the MX Keys S, coming in at $130 and sells about $1 million a month. No mouse though. So yes, all 3 of these are from Logitech, and no, this video is not sponsored. Apparently Logitech kills it when it comes to non-mechanical keyboards, so they really can't be that bad. I honestly have no idea what to expect in this video, but here we go. So 2 of these keyboards come in a light blue box, which are the MK series. You'd think that it stands for a mechanical keyboard, and if you made that assumption, you'd be sorely mistaken. They come with a mouse, so I think MK is an acronym for mouse keyboard. Haha, very creative. So I wonder if they connect with only one dongle, because that would actually be pretty awesome. These ones are pretty affordable, but you know, it's membrane, so is it actually affordable? Then you have the MX Keys S in an all black box. This is the expensive boy, coming in at number 1 for the most sales on Amazon and the highest price point of $130. This one also does not come with a mouse. Not that I'd want a super cheap mouse to begin with, but you know, some people might. You ever get tired of paying for multiple AI tools and always juggling between different tabs? Well, cancel those subscriptions, because I recently tried Global GPT from today's sponsor, and it's basically every AI model that you could ever want all in one place. See this menu? It has over 100 of the best AI models. You've got GPT-5, Google VO3, Cloud 4.1, Midjourney V7, and they're all right here, instantly accessible. No more juggling subscriptions. No, this model isn't available in your country. Nonsense. I can switch between them in seconds, compare reasoning, coding, and speed side by side, and even set up AI agents to automate repetitive stuff. And if I share my projects, I earn credits to use toward more AI time. Watch this. I can write, design, or create cinematic videos without ever leaving this tab. It's like my entire AI workflow just moved into one account. Right now, they've got a summer special, up to 50% off. You can click the link in the comments to try it for free. All your AI power in one place. That's Global GPT. So taking the 2 cheaper keyboards out of the box, the first thing I noticed is, wow, this is probably what most people would use in an everyday office environment. But it looks a little nicer than the plain old Dell keyboard or something, and it definitely feels like we're entering normie territory now. But I guess there's still a lot of people out there that just aren't aware of mechanical keyboards, or maybe they're just perfectly happy with membrane. So looking at both the $25 version and the $40 version side by side, I can definitely see the differences between the 2, and at face value, why would someone go for the more expensive option? The $40 option comes with an ergonomic wrist rest, which I was excited about until I realized it's just hard plastic. When you tap on it, the entire keyboard shakes violently. Okay, it's not violent. I've been trying to up my vocabulary a bit recently. It shakes precipitously, like rain, a storm. The $40 option also has a touch of blue to it. You can see it in the F row for the media keys and the FN key. That's what you call fancy. But what's really weird to me about membrane keyboards, unlike mechanical is it feels like there's just no rules. Like with mechanical keyboards, the keycaps will almost always be the same size from keyboard to keyboard. But with this, you get a weird V-shaped spacebar, you get an ultra fat FN key. It feels like there's a lawless city where people can just do whatever they want. And come on, they even added a steps caps lock. Okay, that one's pretty funny. How are we feeling about stepped caps lock? But the stepped num lock? You have to be messed up to do something like that. Absolutely unhinged. Who came up with this stuff? And only one of them, the cheaper one, has it for some reason. But what I'm really itching to know is how do you plug this thing in? Because there's no USB ports anywhere. Oh wait, oh no. Are these powered by batteries? Specifically, AAA batteries. I don't know how I feel about that. It really feels like we're in a different universe. It's crazy how the other half lives. I guess you could use a rechargeable battery if you wanted to, but I don't really see the benefit of it. I'm not a huge fan. But I do wonder what the battery life is like if you only have to swap them out like once a year. It's really not that bad. But after looking it up, I was pretty shocked to see that the battery life on both keyboards is 3 years. That's pretty cool. And on the back, they have a ton of screws for some reason. I count 13 screws on the K345, which gives me even more questions. Why do you need so many screws? Why would you choose a number 13 of all numbers? The cheaper K270 has even more screws, 15 of them. This one looks even worse since they bulge out of the bottom in these awkward places. At least this keyboard has dedicated media keys on the top, but for whatever reason, they're only on the left side of the keyboard, and then the placement of them is just really triggering my OCD. Like, why not center them or fill out the space more? Look at this empty space here. Why? It's just membrane things, unhinged membrane things. The legends on the keycaps also look dreadfully cheap. They look more like stickers. In fact, they really look sticker-like instead of being integrated into the keycap. With a mechanical keyboard, usually they're double shot, so you have a layer of plastic within a layer of plastic, so they wear down really slow. But with this, these are just gonna disappear after heavy use. I probably can just scratch them off. And what's interesting is that the MK345 has legends smack dab in the middle of the keycap, while the 270 has legends on the top left. Like, why change it between the versions? And on one of the keyboards, the first letter of the word is capitalized, while the other one is all lowercase. What? Why? It makes zero sense. Does all the lowercase text make it feel more premium? The world may never know. And the cheaper one has an 8-degree tilt, while the other one has a 7-degree tilt. Why change it? I don't get it. So the MK345 also has a shinier finish at the top, but it's a complete fingerprint magnet and it looks really gross after typing on it for a bit. I can only imagine how it will look once you have hair and crumbs in it. I honestly like the finish of the cheaper one more, but between the two, there's just so minor differences that they just make no sense. But one thing I can say for sure is Logitech is making an absolute killing on these things. It probably cost them like $5 to make one of these, and they're charging like $40 for them. But right now, I'm kind of curious about the expensive option, the MX Keys S, because while being the priciest, it's also the most popular option, so it better be dang good or else I have wasted $130 on this piece of e-waste. So taking it out of the box, the first thing I noticed is that it's a lot sleeker and it's a lot heavier too. It's also thinner and a lot of the keys look more standardized. No more V-shaped spacebar, although it does have a fat escape for some reason. This one is also not technically membrane. It has something called a scissor switch. A scissor switch is sort of an in the middle between a membrane keyboard and a mechanical switch, like what laptops use. It has a slight rubbery feel like a membrane keyboard, but the actuation on it is like a ultra subtle tactile switch. They're commonly used in keyboards like MacBooks, and we'll talk more about this later. So at first glance, I noticed a few strange things. Instead of kick-up feet on the back, it's got this thick forehead thing that feels really heavy, and if I had to guess, they probably stored the batteries inside this forehead because the rest of the keyboard is very thin. And the keycaps have these rounded divots in it where your fingers can rest, so you can avoid mistakes by resting your fingers on them. They're actually pretty neat to type on when compared to the flat keycaps of the membrane keyboards. It also has an F row with a ton of different media keys, such as brightness, volume, mute, bass. It actually looks like Mac. These are also supposed to be customizable in the Logi Options software, which we'll talk more about later. I'm pretty sure these keycaps are shine through, which is pretty nice to type at night. Something that unfortunately most mechanical keyboards have ventured away from for the past year or so. They need to bring that back. The quality of the keycaps looks a little bit better here than the membrane keyboards, although Although I have a feeling these caps will get really shiny. I mean, the spacebar already looks like it's getting shiny, and these legends are gonna fade over time. Keycaps, aside from the overall construction, feel a bit nicer too. There's no screws poking out of the bottom. Wow, there's no screws at all. So while it looks nicer and more sleek, I'm still left wondering, why did people buy this keyboard and the other options when a low profile mechanical keyboard feels way better? We don't know for sure until we actually test them, because that will determine if they're a big waste of money or maybe there's something I've overlooked. After testing all three keyboards a bit more, I do have some thoughts on them. The MK270 and the 345 keyboards, I have to say, they feel just like classic membrane keyboards. They're mushy, they're sort of bleh, and I really don't see the appeal of them. However, they do come with the benefits of buying a Logitech product, which are essentially two main things. The first one is seamless wireless connectivity. Logitech has really nailed it, you know? You plug in the dongle and everything just works. The mouse and the keyboard use the same dongle, which means you save one USB port and the connection is pretty decent. It's not perfect. If you type fast, you'll definitely notice it being slower than a normal 2.4 gigahertz connection, but it's stable and reliable. And secondly, the long battery life and no cables are great for peace of mind. You only have to replace the batteries every 3 years. You save a lot of money doing that. And if I had to choose between the cheaper MK270 or the MK345, I would choose the cheaper option. First of all, the MK345 sounds way worse, even though they're both membrane. It's super rattly and loud, unlike the quieter keys on the MK270. And I really got sick of the cheap feeling wrist rest. These keyboards are membrane and they're already thin enough. Already, you don't really need a wrist rest. Plus the price on it is unbearable for a membrane keyboard. You're literally paying $40 for a product that could cost like $10. The only reason I would choose the MK345 is that the mouse is a lot more comfortable and it has a slightly more ergonomic grip and a wider base. However, it's still not good by any means. At $40 though, just get a Kissant on Amazon instead. It'll be way better in every single way. But what about the $130 MX Keys S, you may ask? How good is that one? Well, this is where things get interesting, because after buying it, I did a bit more research and it has its own hardcore group of people who love it. And it has some really cool features that you get when you buy something from Logitech. One is that it senses when your hands get near it and it will automatically brighten the backlight and turn on. So you don't get that weird dead period when you like tap on a key and you wait for it to turn on. It's seamless. It's awesome. Another cool thing is that the backlight automatically adjusts its brightness based on the environment. I just kind of wish every keyboard had these features because they're great for ease of use and conserving battery life. There's another thing I was super excited about with this keyboard called Logi Options. It's an app, you have to download it, and it lets you remap keys and create simple macros, but I had some issues with it. The first is that it only works with the media keys, not the alpha keys, not the number keys, which really sucks. I'm only gonna do so much with the media keys. I need my whole keyboard to be programmable. The other thing that sucks is that you need to create an account to access these features. Now that's just nonsense. You don't really need my personal information so I can mess with my keyboard shortcuts. What do you need that for? The battery life on this lasts about 5 months without backlight or 10 days with. It's not as good as I had hoped. Other Logitech keyboards I feel like have a lot better battery life. And you get access to the Logi Bolt benefits, such as being able to connect up to 6 devices with the same receiver, while having it be ultra secure, fast, and low battery drainage. But honestly, while these features are nice, I still don't quite get the appeal of it, especially at such a crazy high price. It's hard to imagine paying $130 for a scissor switch in 2025. The Keychron B1 Pro is only $40, so if I wanted something similar, I'd get that instead. While you do miss out on a lot of the Logitech benefits and the ecosystem, it's just a lot easier to stomach that price. And if I really wanted to spend $130 on a keyboard, I'd get the Newfie Air 75 V3. It's awesome, it sounds great, and battery life is good. I like that one a lot. So here's where I landed after testing all three of these, the most popular keyboards on the internet. If you're the kind of person who's watching keyboard videos on YouTube, I can almost guarantee these aren't for you, unless you're a very specific person. The MK270 and 345 are perfectly fine for someone who doesn't think twice about keyboards. They're cheap, they're wireless, and easy to set up, which is probably why they sell so well. But when you type on them, you can tell. It's like eating instant noodles. Yeah, they're good, but they're not nutritionally valuable in any way. The MX Keys S, this one surprised me a bit. It's definitely in a different league of its own, and it looks and feels nice. The backlight is smart, and the Logitech software, pretty neat. But even with all of that, I still can't recommend it at full price because for $130, you can get a mechanical keyboard that is just better. And I get the appeal, I do. If the layout's familiar, their sleek design, low noise. But once you try a proper low profile mechanical keyboard, you realize that this just isn't quite it. And most people are buying these because they see how good they sell and proceed to follow the herd. Basically, they don't know that there are better things out there. But if you've made it this far into a keyboard video, you're probably ready for something better. So start with this video right here where I test the best keyboards at every price point. One of them is bound to change your mind. See ya!